video?
Yes, that's me. The Alan of 2012 isn't that different from the Alan of 1992, really. Same terrible hairstyle, same non-existent fashion sense, and 20 years later, I'm still playing games. This is the story of how mere intrigue becomes obsession. This is Retrocity. Some people don't like calling themselves gamers. It implies long nights in the dark playing World of Warcraft, surviving on Doritos and Mountain Dew. If those are your criteria, then I'm not a gamer either. I'm an adventurer of fictions. But early games really did feel like adventures. I was a pioneer, exploring uncharted territory. Video trailers came on a cassette, news in monthly installments. There was only one version of Street Fighter 2. Without prior expectations, everything was fresh and exciting. That fateful Christmas, I received 4 Mega Drive games. The first, of course, was good old Sonic. It was incredibly beautiful, excessively fast, and impossibly hard. Every jump was a matter of life and death, Dr. Robotnik's evil machines at the end of the stage, an insurmountable hurdle. All those bosses were really tough at the time, even though they seem trivial now, but there's one that really stood out. Your first sign that something is awry is you keep climbing and climbing while the tide rises beneath you. There are a few badniks, but you're already waiting for Robotnik to show up. What's he got planned this time? Lasers, spikes, drills, a monkey filled with explosives? No, he just runs away and leaves you to drown. What a dick. You don't get any rings, just a measly shield to make it through the gauntlet. I still find it really difficult. See? It doesn't matter how many times I play this section, it fills me with fear. Don't try and attack Robotnik, that just slows you down. Concentrate on not dying, concentrate on the fireballs, the spears, the ever-advancing toxic murk. There are no oxygen bubbles here, just the stale air that hisses out of Sonic's punctured corpse. Okay, one life left, let's save it. Let's just play something else. European televisions are different from American and Japanese ones. They're higher resolution, at least until the advent of HDTV, but they also refresh more slowly, 50Hz compared to 60Hz. Have you turned this video off yet? Hope not. Early console games needed to be properly coded to take advantage of European televisions. Sonic the Hedgehog was not one of those games. Everything runs 17.5% slower than the US release, including the music.
Can you imagine if everything ran 17.5% slower?
It's funny how things change with perspective. Playing PAL Sonic now is not a pleasant experience once you've played it at its true speed, but I didn't know the difference back in the day. Not all of my launch games were as good as Sonic. If you buy a games console from a high street retailer nowadays, they try to bundle a crap game under the auspices of value. Halo Reach and Kung Fu Panda, Mass Effect 3 and FIFA 1987. My equivalent was the Aquatic Games starring James Pond. In time-honoured sporting game tradition, some of these games involve mashing the buttons as fast as possible. I couldn't even win the first event with my GameCube controller, so I had to bring out the big guns. There are 9 events. Just like the real Olympics, most of these are crap. They've got fishy pun names like 100-meter splash. Now don't get me wrong, I'm a pun lover, but something smells fishy about these events, and it's not James Pond's unwashed running shorts. Some events, like kipper watching, require 4 minutes of concentration through the tedium to secure a gold medal. In the fish feeding game, you'll hear one of the worst sound effects a computer has ever produced, apart from the time my Dreamcast exploded. This is the kind of game where you read the manual to find out what on earth you're meant to be doing, only to find out it's just full of more fish puns instead of genuine information. I wish I had a job writing manuals full of aquatic puns. I'd have a whale of a time. That joke doesn't really work right out, does it? Lotus Turbo Challenge has one of the best theme tunes of the 16-bit era, and to celebrate it, I'm going to play it uninterrupted for the next 5 minutes. Enjoy! I'm just kidding. Inexplicably, all the groovy tunes are used to introduce the brutally challenging races of Lotus, rather than accompanying them. The developers have made up for this by mapping the C button solely to your driver shouting "Yeehaw!" He needs to sound excited because you're about to be devastated. This is a beast of a game, just as challenging now as it was back then. It's not that I'm bad at the game is bad at letting me play it. You bounce off everything and your Lotus is being driven like you're an old age pensioner looking for parking on a Sunday. It took 3 recording attempts just to reach the second level, and after that I resorted to passwords, just so I could show you something that isn't a dull forest. Yet there's one password that makes this game awesome, and it is Slug Pace. This really puts the turbo into Lotus Turbo Challenge, and takes the word challenge out for good measure. You'll whiz through the stages. You'll still need to put the theme tune in loop though, unless you like the sound of a computer going. There was a real anxiety over early games consoles and their software. How would consumers know they were any good? That's why they all have Super and Mega in the name. It's to resolve ambiguity. Let me resolve the ambiguity surrounding Super Thunderblade. It's a bit rubbish. You are a helicopter, or maybe you're just a pilot, and your job is to blow up some things that aren't you. I couldn't get through the first level as a child without bursting into flames in every other building. You can hover in midair, but who wants to slow down in a video game? Would you hover over enemy lines? No! You'd go in guns blazing. It's like the brake button in a car racing game. No one uses that. It's the anti-fun button. I used to play Super Thunderblade with a cheat cartridge so I had infinite lives, trying to kill enemies with the remains of my shredded rotor blades. That is, until I discovered the cheat. The cheat is very simple. Set the difficulty to hard, move to the top left corner of the screen, and you won't die. No bullets will touch you, no buildings come near. It's like that scene in Top Gun where Tom Cruise flies way too high, and the Russian pilot goes, "We cannot get him, he's beyond top corner of my screen." The cheat works until level 2, which introduces caves that require you to move away from the safety zone. This leads to death and anguish. There are later highlights, like a series of metal hurdles that are just the wrong size for a helicopter to fit through. Even when you swear you've made it through, you have not. Or what about the submarine that you have to fight in some act of flying chivalry when you can just fly away and laugh at them? These games just make no sense. Yet that's what I love about these old games. They're often repetitive, buggy and broken, but you keep on playing them anyway. They're outside the limits of rational criticism. Your affections are answerable to no one. Some retro games are fun because they're old, others in spite of their age. But they're great whether you're a 6-year-old enthusiastically reading the box or a 25-year-old man reliving his old memories. See you next time.